Welcome to our tutorial on the first movement of Beethoven's Sonata, Opus 49, number 2. My name is Anne Schätz, and I look forward to giving you some ideas on how to play this joyful, playful movement. The high opus number might give you the impression that this sonata is a work of Beethoven's middle period. But in fact, it is a very early composition. Beethoven composed it in 1795-96, presumably for the purpose of piano teaching. The sonata was much later published, therefore the high opus number. It is a sonate en miniature with only 2 movements, as you can find quite often in the piano sonatas of Beethoven's teacher Joseph Haydn. This movement is written in the classical sonata form. Actually, it is a model of the sonata form, as you can find in any theory book. So we find in the exposition 2 main themes. The first theme you find in bar 1 to bar 15. It consists of 2 phrases. The first phrase you find in bar 1 to 4. Beethoven repeats it then in bar 5, 1 octave higher. The second phrase starts in bar 8, and Beethoven repeats it in bar 12, 1 octave lower, this time always with minor little changes. The second theme you find in bar 20 to bar 36. There is a relation to the first theme and also a contrast. The second bar of the first theme and the second bar of the second theme are very similar. So bar number 2, bar number 21, and also the accompaniment in bar 6 is very similar to the accompaniment in bar 21. But the first theme starts with a downbeat and the second theme with an upbeat. And these 3 notes, upbeat and the following 4s, are the nucleus of this theme. And then in bar 22, 23, bar 25, in bar 49, the closing group starts. In bar 53, the development starts. It's very short, it's only 14 bars. A very interesting passage in the development is bar 59. Beethoven stays here for 5 bars on the dominant of the relative minor. This movement is written in G major. The relative minor is E minor. And the dominant is B major. In bar 67, the recapitulation starts. It is quite similar to the exposition. But Beethoven uses here, in the first theme, musical material from the second theme. So we compare bar 75 with bar 36. So it's just the same, but only transposed. The second theme you find here, of course, also in G major, now in the tonic key. The closing group, starting bar 116, is a little bit longer, so we have a mini coda at the end. In this movement, you find 7 different kinds of articulation. We start in the first bar with the first chord. I play it with the full weight of my arms. To train to feel the weight of your arms, I recommend this exercise. You relax one arm completely, and the other arm takes it and feels the weight and throws it on the key. You do it the other way around, of course. Then you do it with both arms. You feel the weight. And then you have a very full, a very warm sound. And with this kind of feeling, you play the first chord. Also, in the first bar, we have the leggero with the triplets. The leggero you train by waving. You wave with all your fingers from here. It's very important that you wave from here, or you wave just with one finger, like that. That's the movement of the leggero. Then we have the repetition of notes in bar 20. I recommend to practice the repetition of notes every day with all fingers in both directions. And it's very helpful to shout out loudly the number of the finger you play. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, for example. In bar 21, we have the legato. Here you play with longer fingers, not round like this, but a little bit longer, and you play the notes very closely. This second theme is very cantabile, so I recommend that you sing this second theme, maybe with a text from the opera of Beethoven, Fidelio. Ich werde glücklich sein. I will be happy. In bar 22, we have a very typical kind of ending in the classical period. So the first note you play heavy, like that. So you start with a high wrist, you lower your wrist, and by bringing up the wrist again, accidentally you play the second note. And you do the same with the third note. So heavy, lighter, the lightest. And you can practice that also as a scale. In bar 35, we have the portato in the left hand. Here you stroke gently the keys. And then we have the staccato in bar 45. Here you imagine to have a bit of dirt on your keys and you want to clean your keys like that. So it's a fast movement and a small movement because it's just a bit of dirt. The whole movement is full of triplets and full of the change of duplets and triplets. We want, of course, to sound the triplets in bar 1 very fluently, very easygoing. So I recommend these exercises. You play 4 notes together, the first 4 notes, and also the second 4 notes, also with the left hand, several times, like. Then the second exercise is you hold 2 notes and play the other 2 back and forth. And you do this in all combinations, of fingers. Then you hold 2 notes and play the other 2 together. Then you hold 2 notes and play these 2 notes and the other back and forth. And then you play the 4 notes up and down. That's your finger fitness studio. To train the change of duplets and triplets, I recommend these exercises. So you have the pulse of the 4th note beat in your foot, and then you pat with the left hand duplets. Triplets right hand. Duplets right hand. Triplets left. And you do now the same thing on the piano. So the beat stays in your foot. You find a trill in this movement in bar 4, in bar 8, in bar 70, and in bar 109, and a turn in bar 12. We practice now the trill in bar 4. The movement of a trill is that of a little hammer. Your fingers are little hammers falling on the keys. You hold the main note in bar 4, that's a C, and you play the changing note several times. Now you hold the changing note and play the main note several times. Now only twice. Now you trill for eternity. Now we bring both hands together. So you play only the main note. Now the main note plus the suffix. Now you decide how often you would like to play the main note. For example, 3 times. So you play it now 3 times, just the main note without the suffix. 1, 2, 3. Now you play the same but with the suffix. 1, 2, 3. Now you play the real trill but without the suffix, and you count like I did loudly the 3 main notes. 1, 2, 3. And now the same with the suffix. 1, 2, 3. In this movement, you find different kinds of accompaniment. For you, I have chosen 2 ways of accompaniment. We start at bar 6. Here, the accompaniment consists of 2 voices. One voice, the upper voice, is the D, and the lower voice is and you play that together with the right hand. Without the trill. Then you hold the D in the left hand and play the lower voice. Then you play both voices back and forth. And then you play both voices together. And now you repeat just the lower voice. And all these exercises you do as well with the right hand together. Now we come to bar 15. And here I want to give you some exercises in order to train the independency of your fingers and to train that both hands really play together this passage. So we start first with the left hand and you play the 3 notes together as a chord. The same thing with the right hand. The left hand up and down. The right hand up and down. And now we want to bring both hands together. So we start by playing just the first note of every beat. Now we stay like that in the left hand, but we play in the right hand the chord. Now we stay like that in the left hand, but play the original version in the right hand. Now the chord in the left hand. And just the first note in the right hand. Chord left hand, chord right hand. And now the original version in the right hand. Now the left hand as triplets and the right hand just the first note. And now the chord. And now the original version, both hands. And you train it also by crossing your arms in both ways, of course. And then you train it also on the piano lid. So you can hear very good, very clear if your hands really play at the same time. To play scales fluently, you need a relaxed, very flexible thumb. To train this, I use my rubber like this, but you can also use a pen, of course. So you lay it on the keys and you move it like that. You can also train it by playing a cluster and playing ping pong with your thumb. It is very important that your thumb is upright and not like on the beach, lying like on the beach. Yeah, you have an upright thumb. Now we practice the scale in bar 36 and bar 38. It is very important that your hand is still and doesn't move too much. So I use this very sweet little hippo and I try that he won't fall down. The most important passages in a scale and the most difficult passages are the passages where the second, third, or fourth finger moves or the thumb moves. So we have a look now at bar 36, the passage starting with the E. You play it up and down, and you also can repeat the fourth finger. And now we train the beginning of bar 38, the movement of the thumb. And you also can repeat the thumb. Then we want to practice the whole scale. Here I would suggest to repeat every note. But you play very legato. And you also can repeat only every second note. If you want to play the scale faster, I recommend to choose a short passage and to play it as fast as you can. But of course, you stay totally relaxed and you play it totally equally, the notes. So for example, we choose the first three notes in bar 36. Now the note starting from the second note. And now we start with the F sharp. And now you put it together. And you work like this with all your scales. Now we come to the thirds. We find it in bar 59. We want, of course, to hear the upper voice louder than the lower voice, so we repeat it. Then you play the upper voice and lower voice mute. Then you play the upper voice legato and the lower voice staccato. And then you play the lower voice just a bit after the upper voice. Maybe you even don't hear the lower voice. It's very good. So it means your whole weight is on the upper voice. Yeah, then you've managed it. In the Händel Urtext editions, you find the music as the composer wrote it. That's the great thing about Urtext. There's nothing added. Beethoven didn't write any information about dynamics in this movement. I would like to give you now some ideas on dynamics in this movement. The first chord I play was pedal forte. The following triplets I play piano. The falling melodic line in bar 8 I play with a decrescendo. And now the music gets more intense, so I played with a crescendo. And I stay forte till the end of this first passage. The second theme I play very softly. In bar 25, 26, you can play an echo, or you can play the second time more intense. In bar 27, I like to stress the syncopation in the left hand. In bar 45, I like to play a subito piano. But in bar 48, I stay forte. The development, I play forte. It's a very dramatic passage. And then in bar 59, I recommend to imagine an instrumentation here for orchestral instruments. That's always very good to imagine an orchestration when you play your piano solo pieces. Your play will get more colorful. So here I imagine the left hand to be played by violins and the right hand oboe and flute. Then in bar 65, cellos and clarinets join in. Then double basses and bassoons. And the whole orchestra plays again. I wish you now a lot of pleasure practicing and playing this movement. Enjoy the new Händel edition of the 5 easiest piano sonatas by Ludwig van Beethoven. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Goodbye.